So to conclude with Jesse, this is the first time I've ever cooked eggs on this channel. I don't eat a lot of eggs, really. I don't know how healthy they are. There's a lot of cholesterol in them. Anyway, so to conclude with Jesse, you know, I look at it like life is a series of successive experiences. You know, those experiences could be good or bad. It just depends, you know. And you got to try to live life the best you can with what you have. And you got to try to be as happy as you can in life while you're going through it. You know, that's kind of always been my philosophy. Maybe something different works for somebody else, but for me, that's worked for me, at least insofar as it's got me to where I am today. And I'm not saying my philosophy is the best philosophy. I'm just saying it's good to be happy and live in the moment, you know? But I also believe that we experience different shit. You know, we experience different timelines. We experience different seasons. I like that word seasons in this context. We experience different, you know, eras, so to speak. Different events in our life that are, you know, if you take them all, if you compile them, you know, they're different eras, if you will, or seasons. Jesse was a season, right? Laurel was a season for me, you know. And you got to take the bad with the good, man. You got to look at the silver lining and say, yeah, man, there was some good stuff there, you know. Maybe it ended bad. Maybe she was messed up. Maybe, you know, she broke my heart, or I broke her heart, or we screwed each other over, whatever. But there's also going to be some good times, you know. There's going to be some happiness. And that's with any relationship. You know, there has to be, or else it would never work in the first place. You have to have some kind of happiness and some kind of, you know, shared bond, some kind of togetherness with people that you experience, right? With friendships, relationships, etc. That's just life, man. So I would encourage my listeners, I would encourage anybody listening to this, don't look at everything so negative all the time, you know? Look at the positive if you can. Look at the positive, you know? Look at the silver lining. And Jesse was kind of messed up, you know? Laurel was just a fun girl who was cute and had a thick ass. We hung out a lot. We had a lot of sex. She had some really good pussy, and it just was what it was. And then we broke up. I cheated and tried to get her back, and she had already monkey branched onto another guy, tried to hurt me, whatever. I moved on. I was hurt for a while. Moved on. You know, hooked up with some other girls. Blah blah blah. You know, even hooking up with randoms is kind of an experience. It's like, yeah, man, I did that. You know, I like this movie that Dustin Hoffman did. I think in the 70s or late 70s, maybe early 80s. It's called Little Big Man, right? And really the movie is just about this guy's life. It's just about the different events that he goes through. And that's all it's about. At least that's what I gathered from it. It's just a random movie about a random guy's life. And that's it. And it doesn't try to make a big message. It doesn't try to be more than that. And I think the esoteric picture of that would be that, you know, the capsule of the shell of that meaning of that movie is that we go through different stuff in life. You know, like he experienced all this different stuff. He was a kid, he experienced sex, he experienced going to church, he experienced living with a woman, or, you know, living with a family. Then he experienced, you know, this or that, or moving out. Then he went and hooked up with some Indians, and then he experienced being an Indian, and all this stuff he went through was just like this dude's life, right? There was no greater message in it. It was just like, the meaning is that we go through different stuff, right? We go through different phases, and we go through different eras and seasons. And like I said, I like that word, seasons. Sometimes you're in a relationship with the girl and you're in a sunny season. It's a sunny time. Everything's great. Like, the sex is good, you guys are bonding. She's funny. She's happy. You guys are happy together. Woo, 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 right? Then fast forward a couple months later, it's a different season. It's fall. You guys are starting to fight, or this is happening, or this is happening. Then maybe fast forward a little bit later, and it's winter. It's winter time. You might even break up with her, right? That's a low point, right? Winter time is a low point in our life. We go through seasons as human beings. We should never be always in one season, because I think that I don't know. I appreciate the sun. You know what I mean? I really do appreciate the sun. But living in a place that has a lot of seasons, I appreciate fall. I appreciate spring. Every season is a different flavor, and I grew up in a place that had a lot of snow. I appreciate winter. It's beautiful, so it's just how you look at it, man. It's just how you look at, and you got to remember the good times, because there were good times. Now, taking the red pill, it's easy to be in that red pill rage. It's easy to be in that red pill kind of anger and, oh, girl, women. And sometimes there is no good. Sometimes the girl is just toxic. She's a succubus. She's a narcissist. She's just so toxic that she damages us. That's unfortunate. Sometimes there are relationships that are just all bad. And I know some guys, a lot of guys, have just been real screwed over, in a lot of different ways. And that sucks. But even that, we can, gain something from it. It makes us stronger, or it teaches us something. It causes us to see something we didn't see before. It took me a long time to piece together what female nature really was. Doesn't mean I didn't have good times with girls. It doesn't mean I was always screwed over, And Jesse's an example of that. Jesse and I had a lot of fun times. We did fun shit. She was funny. We bonded. We laughed, And so it's like each girl, and I'm going to start talking about Julie in a minute, because Julie is the girl who really fucked me over. I'm going to probably talk about that on my next video, and that's going to be a hard one to do for me, because boy, did she fuck me over. But I'm really going to get into red pill philosophy with Julie, because I learned the most about red pill and female nature with her. And maybe we've all got our nemesis. Maybe we've all got our arch nemesis. And if there is such thing in a girlfriend, that's Julie for me. So I'm going to get deep into that. That's going to be a hard one, because that's a fucked up situation. I'm going to get into details with that one. But Jessie, Jessie was just Jessie. Jessie was a fun girl. She was cute. She was spoiled. She was messed up. In a lot of ways. And I think I called her the devil or whatever. But she was fun and she was cool, but also, yeah, she was fucked up. She was messed up, and she was a manipulator. Well, she was not that smart to be much of a manipulator, but I would say most girls are manipulative. I think female nature is pretty manipulative in and of itself. I think female nature is pretty narcissistic in and of itself. Doesn't mean you can't have fun with the girl. Doesn't mean there's not quality girls out there. Doesn't mean there's not transparent girls out there. Doesn't mean that, there's not very rational, honest, logical girls out there. There are. It's just, you got to find them. They're rare. It's very easy to be manipulative if you're a female. It's very easy to be narcissistic. It's very easy to just, rest on the fact that you can manipulate and use men with sex and things like that. It's very easy to do that. It's very tempting, because it's like, hey, why would I run up a hill when I can take an elevator up a hill, right? Why would I work really hard if I can just snap my finger and everything's done for me? I mean, think about it. It's almost like a special class to be a female, right? So you got to take the bad with the good, man, in a lot of ways. And so Jessie for me was just, I do think of a lot of the fun times that we had. I did have a lot of fun with Jessie, and but we we broke up. And what happened with Jesse was messed up. I'm gonna eat this sandwich, and then I'm gonna come back and talk a little bit more about Jesse. I'm gonna get into what happened, how we broke up. Basically, she lied about being pregnant, and that's when I sort of learned a hard truth, which is that women have 100% power over what happens with the baby. And even though she lied about being pregnant, even though she wasn't actually pregnant, I felt that pain of, when she said I might have an abortion, and I felt like, what the hell? You can't do that. That's my kid. And she says, oh yeah, I can, because I have full right over the life of the kid. I can choose to keep it, or I think she said it was a girl. She said I could choose to keep her, or I could choose to have an abortion. And like I said, again, she was lying, but I felt that pain of, damn, a woman can kill my kid. I felt that, and it was hard. It hurt, man. It hurt in a way that, in a very weird way, kind of made me feel powerless in a way, right? But that happened, and then we broke up. But I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to eat this sandwich, then I'm going to come back and finish up on that note. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast.